Why, hello there, soulmates. It's good to be back with you. I hope that life's treating you well today. My name's Soulkeeper, and today we're going to be talking about the new DC Multiverse FLEISCHER Superman movie. Now, I'm sure everyone probably knows about this. This is a very this is a very famous version of Superman. But for everyone who maybe doesn't know, did you know that this new FLEISCHER Superman action figure from McFarlane Toys is based on the 1940s animated cartoon, the animated series? This is a very famous piece of like animation, right? Back in the 40s, they got a huge sum of money to make Superman cartoons. Like what happened was this animation studio, they were asked to make Superman cartoons and they didn't really want to do it all that badly, so they asked for an exorbitant sum. And they were granted the exorbitant sum, and they were very surprised. And then what happened was they made the cartoons, and you can go watch them anytime you want. Really, they got all kinds of these things that are just available on the internet. The Superman animated series from the 40s is like in this weird state of limbo, right? Where Superman himself is not in the public domain, but like the actual cartoons kind of are, so anybody can watch them anytime they want. Hey Dalton, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today, and hello Mahoy Manoy, what's going on? Mahoy Manoy said hi. I am finally getting used to this feature, I think. It feels weird, but at the same time it feels good to know, hey, it's a feature. Oh, by the way, I was contacting YouTube earlier, asking them about YouTube GIFs, because apparently people are supposed to have access to it, and I don't have access to it yet, and they're helping me get it sorted out, so they said it should be fixed in like a week, and if it's not, contact them again. I know, Mahoy Manoy. It's so generic looking, I know. Maybe I should just send another note to this person and say, oh, by the way, could we maybe put a red and white border around the said hi stuff so that we know it's like an official thing? I don't know. The thing about YouTube's chat is that their chat is just so plain compared to other chats. Hello there, Pulo. How you doing today? Okay, well, welcome. It's good to have you here. Dalton, you're doing good? I'm okay, too. Hello there, Sprout Star Time. I hope you're doing good today, too. As I was saying, guys, this is based on the 1940s FLEISCHER cartoon that we're about to talk about right now, this new Superman action figure. And, yeah, that cartoon, I remember watching those cartoons. I mean, obviously, the 1940s cartoon was way before my time, but I had, like, episodes that I would watch, and, I play them constantly. It was such a fascinating cartoon. The thing of it is that it doesn't really have any comic book characters other than Superman and Lois Lane and, like, the Daily Planet and stuff. It's just Superman and a handful of his core cast members. But the main villains are like robots and mad scientists and other typical 1940s fodder. Even so, it's an excellent, excellent show. No, this is an English-speaking channel. Thank you. Well, anyway, in this stream, guys, we're going to talk about the new FLEISCHER Superman action figure from McFarlane Toys, and we're going to take a look at what it looks like compared to the actual design of FLEISCHER's Superman. Obviously, this is one still from, like, the intro of the show, and it looks a little bit different from what you notice about Superman in his more modern design, right? Like, it's got this black background with the red S, yellow border around the edges, his belt is kind of red. It still looks a lot like Superman. It's got a lot of the typical design elements, but it also is a little bit different from what we know in the modern era. Here's another still from the show where, Superman is, trying to connect some wires with his bare hands. He did that sort of thing. Superman had, in this show, had a little bit of adaptational wimpiness, where he could get knocked around by shells and stuff. Electricity could kind of hurt him, but I mean, obviously, it never did him in or anything like that. And, we see a lot of those same design elements here. The black background with the red S, and the lack of a yellow belt like Superman tends to wear these days. But everything else is pretty much the same as we know. Like, he's got the blue cut off at the chest. He's got the long, medium-long cape that's nice and flowing. And plus, he's got the underwear on the outside of his costume. It's not really Superman unless he's got the underwear on the outside of his costume, you know what I mean? At least not in my way of thinking. I've never looked at Superman and said, boy, I don't want the underwear on the outside of his costume. And here's one last image we can look at of him. Funny enough, he looks kind of old in this picture, doesn't he? I don't know, maybe Superman just hadn't caught enough sleep that day. But this is just to give you an idea of what Superman from the Fleischer cartoon looks like, guys. This is about it. Now let's take a look at what he looks like on the action figure, everybody. This is the Fleischer Superman from McFarlane Toys, and yeah, this I would say this about captures the spirit of that cartoon. I think this is one of my favorite Superman bodies that I've seen from McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. Like, hello there, Robloxian. Hope that you're doing good today. Sorry I didn't see that, but hello there. This Superman action figure, guys, the Superman body that I've seen from McFarlane Toys for, I don't know, maybe a couple different Superman action figures now, I love this so much more than what I saw on Superman. For a longest time, McFarlane Toys was using this infected Superman body, and what I mean when I say that is there was this action figure that they released early on that was this Joker-infected Superman, where he had this ghastly grin on his face, and the body like looked okay at first, but as time went on, we saw more action figures from McFarlane Toys. The body started to look more and more squat in comparison with other action figures, to the point where when they released a Batman action figure, it was so much taller than that Superman that you kind of looked at that and went, I don't know about this scaling. This one looks a lot nicer. It looks a lot more proportional. It doesn't have bow legs, and his spine doesn't look like it's compressed like the infected Superman body does. This one, let's take a look at some of the things on this one. It's got the joints that, you know, we all know and love by now from McFarlane Toys, where they're very clean and flush with the body, and they match the mold of the arms and the legs. For a while, McFarlane Toys was using these ball joints on the wrist and ankles, and they didn't look like god-awful. They were functional. You saw them on a lot of different imports, and that's pretty much what McFarlane was using, the same type of joint, but, you know, it didn't look super professional. Hello, Mills. How's it going? This, I think, has a degree of class to it. I think that it adds a lot to the action figure. And I feel like Fleischer Superman. I mean, I feel like I'm looking at Fleischer Superman. I don't know about everybody else here. I do love that they're taking at least a little bit of liberty with his costume, make it look a little bit lived in. Because, you know, you see the little creases in his trunks. You see some creases in his costume on his legs and arms. I like seeing that sort of thing on action figures, because it just makes the character look a little bit more grounded to me. It makes it feel like he's human. Yeah, it makes it feel like he's not just, he feels like he's stepped off the cartoon. It looks like he's stepped off the small screen, but at the same time, it looks like he could actually exist. Does that make sense to everybody? Plus, it's capturing little details like, well, obviously, the emblem on his chest. They got that right. It's not like it's all that hard to do. All they do is paint the chest, right? On some level, I kind of wish that maybe they would have done like a little embossed element on his chest there, maybe a little plastic piece. But you know, the paint's fine. It still looks like the character. I'm kind of taken by the shape of the head here, by the way the head sculpt looks. God, some of these poses are really incredible on Fleischer Superman. Like, God, look at these angles, guys. That looks. I love the squinting look, because that's just Fleischer Superman in a nutshell. Like, that's not really what Superman does now, but in those cartoons back when, yeah, he did this a lot. Here, let's take another look, guys. Yep, see, he's squinting. Take another, well, I mean, he's kind of straining there. That doesn't count. This, though, see how tired he looks? You see what I mean? Oh, by the way, there's like another cell over here to the side. Yeah, see how tired he looks? See how he's squinting? They captured that so well here. He looks like he needs a little bit of a nap. He looks like he's a little bit world weary from saving us all from robots and crazy scientists and aliens and other 1940s nonsense. Looks like he needs a day off, doesn't he? Maybe go to the beach with Lois Lane or something and have a martini. That's what they drank back in the 40s, right? Yeah, he does. He looks really, really good. I think so, Mahoy Manoy. This is an action figure that I think I can wholeheartedly recommend. Some of the ones that I've seen recently have made me hem and haw, but not this one. This one looks great. I love his cloth cape, too. I know I keep saying that in a lot of McFarlane's releases. I think I just need to get used to McFarlane Toys releases having cloth capes at this point. Like, I'm not used to it, but I'm still getting acclimated to it, and you just know there's going to be someone out there who's going to complain about this action figure having pin joints, because pinless joints on Marvel Legends and stuff, and a number of other action figures are all the rage right now. They're going to focus on that instead of the fact that, like, it looks good, like, it looks like the character, like, here's the action figure here, and then, you know, here's Superman here. Come on, it looks like him, right? It's got the barrel chest, it's got, like, the relatively skinny-ish legs. It's got, like, the kind of small-ish cape. Everything looks good. But no, they'll focus on pin joints instead of everything that's good about it. I could care less about pin joints, I'll be honest with you guys. I just want a good action figure. I want good sculpts. Is that too much to ask for? Bills likes the cloth idea. I know, because it's what they used to do all the time from the 60s up until like the mid-90s. Somewhere in the mid-90s, sometime in the mid-90s, they kind of gradually shifted over to plastic capes. And well, what happened was that it made it so that the cape stayed neat all the time, and it never, like, got misshapen, etc., etc. But also, because it was a piece of plastic dangling off the back of certain characters like Batman and Superman, it made the characters a little, like, top-heavy. So, like, you know, your characters, unless they had a base to keep them upright that you could put on their foot or something, they would fall over all the time. And that didn't used to be the case when you had cloth capes, because the cloth capes weigh next to nothing. Your character can stand bolt upright with that on them all day long. Yeah, it makes it look fancy. It's not like weird plastic ones you have to clip on. I know. That's the thing I think that really gets me about it, is because, like, this isn't one of those old school capes where you just clip it on Superman's neck. I have a Superman action figure from Toy Biz from way back, you know, like back in 1990. Right? And that cape clips onto his neck. And, you know, the rest of him still looks pretty okay. He's got, like, that low-cut chest like Superman is supposed to have, right? But the cape literally just clips onto his neck. And same thing about Batman, too. Clips onto his neck. That's just how they did it then. This, it looks like they're gluing it on. Like, it's so uncanny, because it looks like they're gluing it on. I don't even know if they're gluing it on, honestly. I wish I could get, like, a better look at this. It looks like they might have a piece of plastic on top of that, like his neck here might be lying on top of the cape and pinching it down or something. That'd be kind of insane if that's the case, but it's kind of hard to tell with the resolution of these pictures. You know, if they're doing that, nice. But regardless, it looks like they've made it so that it's almost folding it in, I know. So that's why I'm wondering if it's got, like, the flesh piece just laid on top of that. It's a unique way to get the kind of a relief element separating the costume from his chest. But I'm not mad about it. It looks good. It looks great. Hey, Stank Onion, what's going on? So this one comes with a couple of sets of, or just one set of extra hands, excuse me. It doesn't come with a plethora of accessories. It doesn't come fully loaded or anything like that. I don't know if I feel like it needs to. I feel like this captures so much of the essence of Fleischer Superman that I don't know if it needs anything else. It's got the hands there, and he, like, look at this pose over here. It looks great. You can get him in a flying pose too if you're so inclined. What else do we really need here? Like special effects? I don't know. It's been so long since I've watched Fleischer Superman that I can't remember what kind of effects that Superman uses. Does he have, like, his heat vision in the show? I can't remember, like, when that would start becoming a thing. Because I remember when he was dealing with, like, this laser cannon on the TV show, he wasn't using his, like, heat vision to blast it back or anything. This cannon was blasting at him, and he was beating it back with his fist and flying. literally just beating the blast back until he got to the cannon and crushed it with his bare hands. God, that show ruled. Well, out of curiosity, has anyone ever seen the show that I'm talking about right now? This 1940s cartoon. Did anyone else watch this? Or am I the only one who knows of Fleischer's Superman? Surely I can't be. I have to believe that somebody out there knows it. Ugh. Yes, you have. Alright, Dalton has. We got one person who's seen it. Stank on it has not seen it. Oh, you should check it out, Stank. Yeah, it's like all over the internet. MyTube has. Nice. Okay, good. I'm glad so many people have seen Fleischer's Superman. Yeah, they're all over the internet right now. This is kind of a big improvement from some of the other animation toys that McFarlane Toys has put out, because a little while ago, McFarlane Toys was putting out some... Well, they've been putting out Batman the Animated Series toys, and mostly from DC Direct, those are just reissues of 6-inch action figures that were made by DC Collectibles a while back. They're repaints, reissues. They're not really original toys for the most part. And then they also did some 7-inch action figures like this one, that were of, Justice League, DC, Batman the Animated Series. They did a number of those. They did a Superman the Animated Series one. I don't know. They did a lot of these animation toys a little while ago that weren't very good. They were based on those designs that we saw from those shows, and they were all very like top heavy. They had skinny legs, and I don't know. The joints were not very well made in accordance with the proportions. So because they were so top heavy and everything, like they would just fall over. And they had plastic capes. They had the sculpting was okay. They looked like the characters. They just didn't make for great action figures. I think that they could have done a much better job. This one, by comparison, I mean, this is leagues ahead of what they were doing. McFarlane Toys has gotten a lot better at making animation action figures. I hope this is like the beginning of a new trend of making animated toys for them. If they could just go back to the drawing board and do Batman the Animated Series again on something like this, way, I mean, I would have to revisit these. God, I remember collecting some of those. What a mess they were. I have the Superman and I have the Batman that they released early on. Oh, I wish I hadn't bought those. They were so bad. What's the retail on this one, Steak on Your Ass? This one is going to be $23.99 apparently. So far as I've seen, it's $23.99. Or not $23.99, $22.99. I misspoke. $22.99. The pricing of McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse is, I don't think $22.99 is a bad price, especially considering, you get a Marvel Legends action figure for $24.99 these days. It's been $24.99 for Marvel Legends for quite a long time, and DC Multiverse by McFarlane Toys, since it came out, was $19.99. Some action figures are still $19.99 to this day. I don't know how they pull it off, but I'm not crying about it, especially with all the price increases we've seen across other brands, right? And I think they're gradually trying to nudge the price into $22.99, and people keep pushing back against it, so they keep reeling the price back. Because I remember a little while ago, they started to introduce toys that were $22.99, and then they kind of eased back from that, and they released this Detective Batman action figure, this Nightfall Batman action figure that was based on his appearance from the mid-90s. That was very, very popular for McFarlane Toys. It was one of the best action figures they ever released, and they made that one $19.99, and everyone bought it. Yeah, Arizona T, keep that 99-cent price. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay with not having tons and tons of accessories on this. You're looking for Christopher Reeve, but in Canada it's hard to find. Is he really? Where do you usually find? Well, well, DC Multiverse is sold everywhere that toys are sold in Canada, I imagine. Yeah. Have you had any luck finding them? In America, it's really easy to find action figures, because there's like a handful of online sources in America you can go to, but obviously, Canada doesn't necessarily have all those stores that America has, right? Like, in America, you can go to places like GameStop, you can look at Best Buy. Best Buy is actually listed as a major store of McFarlane toys now. That surprises me, but they list them. Thanks for all those likes, guys. Let's see. They've also got there's Target, there's Walmart, Amazon is another big one, Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store. All those are just major outlets for McFarlane toys and Marvel Legends as well. I'm okay with not having a lot of accessories in the package as long as they have these nice, as long as they do up the action figure real nice, right? I don't need to have a lot of extra hands or anything like that. Like, they're nice to have, but ultimately, if I have so many hands, I'd rather just have like a definitive pair of hands, I think. Keep those on the action figure so I don't have to look for a place to store a bunch of extra little parts. I would rather just they dress up the action figure real nice, maybe do a little bit of sculpting on it, make it look like the character's supposed to, and then call it a day and charge $20 for it, so I don't have to wrangle about a bunch of accessories. Like, the accessories sound good, but after a while, after you collect so many action figures, they become a nightmare to deal with. Like, that's one of the nice things about my collection of Toy Biz Marvel Legends. They came with accessories, they did come with accessories, but they didn't overdo it on hands and heads and all that nonsense. So, it's a little bit easier to keep track of everything, and funny enough, the characters that have all kinds of accessories like Deadpool did back from the mid-2000s, those action figures, like, you lose their weapons all the time, because it came with like 4 guns and another head, and he also came with another like mini action figure that had 2 points of articulation, and he had a Build-A-Figure part, and he had a comic book. God, man, people had it good back in the mid-2000s. When you start talking about Toy Biz Marvel Legends, man, we had it good. I'm gonna wind up going on a tirade about Hasbro's Marvel Legends. I keep going on about it. Yeah, they did have it good. If you ever find one, Stank, if you ever find one at like a trade show or something, if you ever go to like a thrift shop, if you ever find a Toy Biz Marvel Legend in a package out in the wild, you'll see what I'm talking about. Or even if you look at some of my videos, sometimes I show off some old Toy Biz Marvel Legends in the box, right? You'll see what it looks like, what the package was like then. It was a packed package. For like $8.99, you got a comic book, you got a Build-A-Figure part or a base, you got the action figure with a number of accessories. There was a lot going on there. It ups the cost. Yeah, these days it ups the cost quite a bit. I got a comment from somebody about comic books in the package, because I had mean things to say about the mini comic wave from Marvel Legends. I saw a comment from somebody that said that if you want a comic book, just go buy a fucking comic book. You don't need to have all this nonsense like you say in the package. And meanwhile, comic books have a rich history of being included in the package with toys. Like, they did it with He-Man, they did it with Aliens, I'm pretty sure they did it with Transformers for a while, too. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but and they did it with Superpowers for a little bit. There's all kinds of, you can name all kinds of action figure lines that have included mini comics, or, in the case of, like, McFarlane Toys Page Punchers and Marvel Legends, an actual comic book in the package. So it's not like really a crazy suggestion to say, you know, if Hasbro's going to make a comic book wave, just make a comic book wave. Anyway, Is that a trading card behind him? Yes, yes it is. Let's see if we can find a... Let's see if we can find another promo photograph here. Ah, there it is. This is the trading card that's in the package. Each package with a DC Multiverse action figure includes a base. This is probably the most underrated part of the entire package. Now, I talk a lot about useless pieces of plastic, but these bases are so much more valuable than you think they would be, because McFarlane Toys loves to include like little bases, either flight bases. A flight base is what it sounds like. It holds the action figure up, so it makes it look like they're flying, right? And then there's the actual base that you can put on the character's foot, so it makes it look like they're standing of their own accord. Sometimes action figures fall over. It's just, you know, sometimes you bump into things. Sometimes the joints just give out under them over time, but it's less likely to happen if they have this wide base underneath their foot. This is extremely useful. This is one of the best parts of buying a DC Multiverse action figure right here. He also comes with an action figure, or not an action figure, of course it comes with an action figure, a trading card. Every DC Multiverse action figure comes with a trading card. This is a jumping base. Ah, that's pretty good. Able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. That's the theme song from the FLEISCHER Superman show. I apologize to everyone for that. I couldn't help myself. Anyway, there's the trading card, guys. Every DC Multiverse action figure has one of these. And, I mean, they're a mixed bag sometimes. Like, sometimes they're okay. I like them better when they have artwork from a comic book or the TV show or movie or something on the card, versus they were doing this for a while. Wait, I actually have seen the old Supermans now that you did the voice. Wait, you did see that? Oh, that... Guys, I did the announcer bit, and it made memories flood back to Stank. Mission accomplished. I gotcha. Oh my god, I can't believe that worked. Updated look of his old book. Yeah, they do these cards with each action figure. I don't like these I didn't like these back when they just took pictures of the action figure and made that the trading card. It was so boring. And it was kind of tacky, but then they changed back to doing actual artwork and photographs of characters from movies and TV shows and stuff, and it was way better for it. I don't know. McFarlane Toys has gone through a lot of changes over the years. There's been a lot of, like, snags. There's been a lot of weird things that have gone on there. Like, for a while, they were really spamming the Blue Beetle body for a generic body for DC Multiverse action figures. And it wasn't, like, super bad until you got to... Well, the thing is that Blue Beetle, that action figure had some very distinctive boots. And every time you looked at an action figure that was repainted, you could always tell they were using the Blue Beetle body because of those boots, because there was just a big ridge on the calves that shouldn't have been there. But it looks like on the new Christopher Reeve will always be Superman. Probably. I'm not sure you can ever really replace Christopher Reeve, Jason. What's up? Oh, you know, I'm just yammering on about FLEISCHER Superman. Stank thought he hadn't seen the FLEISCHER Superman cartoon, and then I did the announcer bit from the beginning of the show, and it made the memories flood back to him. That was great. Yakking about FLEISCHER Superman. I don't know if you ever saw this cartoon, but yeah, this is the one we're talking about, the one from the 1940s. They just made an action figure of it. It's up for pre-order, and I've been telling everyone, I think this action figure is tremendous, guys. I think this is one to get. I think this is a slam dunk. This is one of McFarlane's best releases so far. Like, the year is still young, but this is a contender for best of the year, I think. It is so old school. It absolutely is. Nothing wrong with that. McFarlane's been doing a lot more retro stuff recently, and some of the stuff they've been doing has just been knocking it out of the park. I think they knocked it out of the park on Guy Gardner. I think they knocked it out of the park on Fleischer Superman. I'm sure there's probably a few other examples we could find, but they're really doing some nice work recently. Some action figures, you know, well, not every action figure is created equal. That's true of, like, every brand, though. Sometimes I talk smack about certain releases, but this ain't one of them. I love this. I would really love to have this. Specifically because I just love Fleischer's Superman. Wish you still had some of your action figures. What action figures did you used to have, Jason? I still have a pretty decent collection of action figures. I still have a lot of Toy Biz Marvel Legends. I have a selection of Hasbro's Marvel Legends. I have actually quite a few. I've got a lot of McFarlane's DC Multiverse. I've got a lot of wrestling action figures too. I have a pretty good collection of Hasbro's WWF action figures. I also have a lot of Jakks Pacific's WWF action figures. What else do I got? I got some of the San Francisco Toy Maker WCW action figures too. Like I have almost the entire line of WCW action figures that they did, that were just like these statues that looked like the old LJN action figures. NECA? What, this? No, this is McFarlane Toys. Tons of wrestling. I don't have a lot of modern wrestling action figures. I have maybe a handful, right? And then I've got miscellaneous other stuff too. I got some. Do I have any NECA? No, I don't collect NECA. Not really. I'm not really, after everything I saw from NECA recently, I'm not really inclined to collect any NECA. Like the way they were trying to, I don't know, what their shipping snafu and the way they're threatening everyone, I didn't want to have anything to do with NECA. It was weird. You had like Hulk Hogan and Macho Ultimate Warrior. Yeah, I've got those too. I've got Macho and Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior on the old Hasbro action figures. I got like one warrior that does a jump move. I got a Macho Man that does a jump move, and I've got like, God, I must have at least, I think I have 2 versions of each character at least. I must. Oh, let me think here. What was I saying? Yeah, I've got miscellaneous other stuff. I've got Star Wars. I have maybe one Superpowers action figure from way back when. I've got a handful of Secret Wars action figures. I got some G.I. Joes. I don't have that many of those. Those I collected, I've just kind of picked up a little bit casually. Data Toys Street Fighter. I mean, I know of them. I think they're great. I just don't have any of them. I thought about it because their action figures are really well regarded and they look really good. I just haven't gotten any of them. Anyone seen the Jada Toys Street Fighter action figures? Those toys are tremendous. Everyone raves about them. In-box or out? Well, I run a review channel. Like I do action figure reviews, so I have to take them out of the box. It's awfully hard to review an action figure inside the box, right? Just devoured a Jimmy John's tuna sandwich with onions, lettuce, pickles, mustard, mayo. It's like the stress of the whole day has vanished. Yeah, it's vanished because you're about to blow out your asshole, Stank. Like that sandwich sounds delicious. It also sounds like a colon blow in one bite. You had a really badass Deathstroke. I've got a Deathstroke too. There's actually a couple different versions of Deathstroke that got released. I have a Superpowers one, but they also released a DC Multiverse version pretty recently. I wish I had that one because I thought that action figure looked awesome, but like things just got away from me, and so did he. Making chili a little bit, a little bit. You just got Cammy, it's pretty good. Yeah, all the Street Fighter stuff from Jada Toys looks tremendous. Like, I don't know what other toys they have down the pipeline, but I hope they get a few other IPs to work with, because just what they're doing with Street Fighter alone is incredible. Street Fighter, they've been handling Street Fighter and Mega Man, and they've been nailing it. Like, if they do Resident Evil, I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna lose it, guys. I hope they handle, like, all of Capcom's licenses. Oh, please God, let Jada Toys make some Resident Evil stuff. That would be amazing. You know, if they got Marvel Legends, they'd probably kill it, Bobby. They'll never get Marvel Legends, though. Hasbro will never let that happen. Yeah, I really want to see Jada Toys handle Resident Evil. Like, they've been handling Mega Man, they've been handling Street Fighter. What's the most obvious IP for them to handle from Capcom next, right? Come on, you and I both know it's Resident Evil. Like, that's just a whole faucet waiting to be turned on. Thank you, iTube. My most recent review is Marvel Legends Venom. Let there be carnage. Yeah, if they start doing Resident Evil, I would find it very difficult to say no. They just, oh yeah, I saw an M. Bison from them recently, Stank, and the M. Bison action figure looked incredible. Oh my god, it had to have been one of the greatest, it's got to be one of the greatest retail action figures I think I've ever seen. Like, I'm starting to think to myself, I don't know, guys, maybe I should start talking about Street Fighter a little bit more, right? Maybe I need to jump on that. I don't know as much about Street Fighter as, say, like... I don't know as much about Street Fighter as I do, like, Resident Evil and Marvel and DC and wrestling and stuff, but... You know. The action figures are really, really incredible. You're a huge M. Bison fan. Like, how many characters have they gotten around to now? I'd have to look at what they've done so far. It's my favorite DC Multiverse figure. Probably Nightfall Batman. That action figure was really amazing. Yeah, Nightfall Batman was really good. Bane was cool. I liked Bane. Let me think. There's like a handful of them that are really, really nice, I think. Lex Luthor would have been really cool if it wasn't for the side eyes. Oh god. Shriek from Batman Beyond was an amazing DC Multiverse action figure. You see why you got that Cammy action figure? Thank you, iTube, for subscribing. Appreciate that. Oh yeah, Jean-Claude Van Damme made a Street Fighter movie. Yeah, Raul Julia. Raul Julia made that movie, Jason. If it wasn't for Raul Julia, that movie would have been just trash. Raul Julia was the glue that held that one together. Like, yeah, I can't... Everything around it was, like, passable. Sometimes even funny, but without Raul Julia, the movie doesn't work. Raul Julia knew exactly what kind of movie he was in. And he chewed the scenery. He hammed it up. He served up the ham and cheese. And God bless him. He knew it was going to be his final role, didn't he? He went out with a bang. That glorious man. Oh, you got Shriek with his human head? The one with the visor was really hard to get, actually. It was a Target exclusive. And if you didn't buy it when it was at Target, you were never going to get it, unfortunately. But I wish they had made that one more widely available, because it's literally one of their best action figures. I'm not joking. I was so shocked when I reviewed it a while back. It's so good. Yeah, he went out big. The funny thing was, I don't think he realized that he was going to die, right? I think he kind of figured that he was just going to keep on going and keep on making movies. But, yeah, obviously life had other ideas for him, Jason. Too bad. Raul Julia was a really tremendous actor. I love him in everything he's in. That man could really chew up he could tear up the screen. He was great in Addams Family. You name a movie that he was in, he was great in it. He never phoned it in. I think a really underrated movie of his is Tequila Sunrise. If you haven't seen that movie, it's got Mel Gibson, Kurt Russell, it's got Michelle Pfeiffer too, and of course Raul Julia. And Raul Julia plays a really big part in it. And He's so good. Packs a lot of menace in a fairly short amount of screen time. It's one movie of his that I've been meaning to watch. I think it's Havana. He was in that one with Robert Redford. And I've never seen it, but I want to check it out. What are your thoughts on the new Batman Beyond figure? You do not like the face. It passed on regular and platinum twice. I'm not sure about that one. From my experience with the Batman Beyond action figures, they're fine. They're a little bit odd because they have, like, the wingspan permanently out, right? And if you just want Batman Beyond without the wings, like, you can't really do that without somehow popping them off the back. And then it's got a giant hole in his back. But the action figures are alright. I don't think that Batman Beyond was as good as Blight or Shriek was. I wouldn't mind it if they revisited Batman Beyond entirely and just, like, did a whole new thing with him. But yeah, he's decent. He's a pretty decent release. Good articulation. It's not perfect articulation, but he had good articulation. And I thought the sculpt was pretty on point too. Sculpt was probably the best thing about him. If you want to have him in a flying pose, I think that's the ideal way to have him set up pretty much at all times. Otherwise, he might look a little janky. Let's see here. Alright, soulmates. Well, in short, guys, I think that Fleischer's Superman here is an amazing action figure, worth checking out. He looks like the cartoon. It looks like they've really captured the essence of him. I feel like I'm looking at a cartoon that a cartoon character stepped off the screen, and I don't know that there's any way to really improve this one. I think they got it. Maybe a little something with plastic on the chest, but that's just spitballing ideas at this point. He's great. Definitely want to check out at $22.99, everybody. Available at all places that sell DC Multiverse action figures. New Man-Bat. See, I have the Man-Bat Mega figure that was released a while back, but I never got to review him. Maybe I'll take him out of the package and maybe I'll actually review him sometime soon. It's only been out for like 2 years or so now, right? Better late than never. Oh, God. You know, sometimes I just get so swamped with everything that I neglect to do the reviews when I mean to do them. Gotta try to do better, guys. Thanks for all those likes, guys. Well, soulmates, I don't know if I have any more thoughts about Fleischer's Superman, so, yeah. Check him out, guys. I hope you enjoy him as much as I do. I think he's a good release. I'm gonna be on TikTok today in a little bit, guys. So, thoughts on Power Girl? I thought that, she was okay. I didn't think she looked much like the source material. I thought that she was just an action figure that they dressed up a little bit to look like the source material without really making it look like the source material. Face is mid? I don't know, I thought the face was fine. My problem wasn't the face, my problem was the costume didn't look right. Guy Gardner, though. Guy Gardner looked good, and what was the other one that was in that wave? Well, Guy Gardner made the biggest impression on me, I think. I liked Guy Gardner a lot. I'll be on TikTok today, guys, in a little bit, and I hope to see you very shortly, everybody. I want to thank everyone for hanging out during Fleischer's Superman. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I always appreciate seeing you, and I always appreciate you spending your time with me, guys. I'll be back on here again soon, everybody. I'll see everyone in a few minutes as soon as I use the little boy's room and freshen my coffee. Have a good day in the meantime. See you soon, guys. Take care. And thanks to all of our new viewers and subscribers out there. I'll check you out soon, guys. Bye, everyone.